Hey, everybody. Before we begin, I just wanted to make this quick announcement about the podcast. April is National Poetry Month. So, in April, next month, I will be featuring all writers as my guests. More than that, I'm going to be featuring 2 writers a week. So, rather than having the weekly episodes, on Mondays, I'll have a writer, and then I'll have another writer again on Thursday. And in the following week, it'll be the same thing. A writer on Monday, a writer on Thursday. So you're getting 2 episodes per week, all April, and they'll all be writers. Some will be poets. Most of them will be poets, but others will be writers of fiction or experimental literature, writers of nonfiction. The idea is just to feature writers and writing craft and to have craft discussions for those who are interested in creating a writing practice or have a writing practice and want to hear how other writers manage their writing practice. So that's what April will be dedicated to. That's sort of going to be the way I celebrate National Poetry Month, and I hope you celebrate it with me. I'm really looking forward to this. I've been curating these episodes since January, sort of reaching out to writers, putting this thing together. And now that they're all been produced, I can't wait for April to come around so that we can all celebrate National Poetry Month together. All right. Thanks for listening, and on with the episode. On with the episode. Oh, on with the episode.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Eric. How are you? I like how you're wearing mask even though you're alone, probably.
Yeah.
That's funny. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got the first dose of the vaccine today.
You did. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I saw it on Facebook. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had to drive
Well,
an
hmm
hour. I drove to Queens actually for
Okay.
1 hour,
hmm
and then got that. Came home. Now we're
hmm
doing this.
Nice, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when is the second one gonna be?
3 weeks. It's
Okay,
already scheduled. They schedule it right away.
great. And hopefully no side effects or anything. Everything is good.
So far, yeah. I think
So
if
far,
I were
it's
gonna
good.
get side effects, I'd get them by now.
Yeah, you would probably, but that's what I heard. Not a lot of people are getting side effects. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's gonna be your case.
Yeah.
Yeah, just some people feel like a soreness in arm. That's what I heard. But
Yeah.
rather than that, yeah. So good to see you. So how's
Likewise.
everything?
It's good. I've been working on the film, working on the podcast.
Okay.
Um, bring my mic in a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I've been trying to do episodes
Mm-hmm.
with everyone from the movie so
Mm-hmm.
that we can. Uh,
Yeah.
well, my alarm for
That,
this podcast is going off.
oh, okay. Yeah, I
Um,
think that's a great idea, what you're doing, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
introduce everybody to everybody, and then
Makes
by the time the
sense.
movie's done,
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows one another.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
it's your turn.
All right. Started
Um,
already?
yeah, I feel like these things start right away.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
yeah. Uh, so you were in my movie Fractals.
Yes.
I don't want to really disclose the nature of your role because it started out as a small role and then it became like almost one of the key components. Like I ended up dumping a whole lot of dialogue on you
Yeah.
and a lot of important
Yeah.
a lot of important stuff. But we don't need to go into those details though, because
Okay.
those are still a work in progress. But I'm interested in uh, learning about you, how you got
Okay.
into acting, and what you've been up to lately, ever since we
Yeah.
wrapped, and where you think you're going.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. First of all, again, I would like to thank you for, giving me that opportunity to be in this movie because I remember when I read the script, I was impressed, because first of all, it resonated with me, you know, because I'm as an artist. And again, coming to the city, to New York City, and thinking, so a little bit about myself. I'm from Uzbekistan. So I was born and raised in Uzbekistan, lived there till I was 29 years old. So when I came here, I was 29. And, when you're going to New York City, you think that it's the city gonna meet you and greet you with 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 the hugs, and like, you're welcome here. But unfortunately, it's not the reality. Especially, for people, I feel like for people who are artists and who done some work home, and when they come here, they think, oh, but like, I have experience, I have a degree, I've acted before, or whatever you do, whatever field you're doing, you feel like you're a professional, you're an expert. But then when you come here, you realize this is not the case, because the city it's very difficult to actually to I wouldn't even say like to prove that you are professional. That's not what the question is. Like, you're still going to be a professional, but the thing is, it's really hard, I feel like, to survive here, to live life, but at the same time to do what you love doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I feel like a lot of, not a lot, but some people who come here, and they realize they're not going to be able to survive, so that's why they do the other things. They start, I don't know, do like finance. That's, for example, what I did. I went
Yeah.
to school, so I actually completed my MBA degree, because I realized that, again, some people are saying that the real artist is the hungry artist, right? So maybe, yeah, I was trying to play safe. So I decided that I need to study business, so I completed my degree in business administration, because I realized that I have to survive. And it's really hard to survive in the city just acting.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things we could unpack there.
Yeah.
The first is the the person who builds all of these talents and these accolades in their hometown. I was one of them. I thought I was the best filmmaker, to ever come to New York, because I'd already done a bunch of stuff.
Right.
And everything I learned how to do, though, didn't matter as soon as I came here.
Mhm.
And I don't, I don't 100% know why that is, but I think it goes into just how there's so many people doing stuff here that to stand out apart from all of that is really, really difficult. It's one thing if you're in your hometown and you're the one putting on the show. You're the one that's on all the flyers. You're the one that's in all the films and on in the theater. Here, there's thousands of people that can do that, and that's the difference. Back in my hometown, I was the only one making movies, and that's why I felt special. And with the proliferation of high definition technology, it's not as special as it used to be. And so you have to really think outside the box on how to stand out and apart from everybody that's trying to do this. And the key is to keep doing it, no matter what, because it's so easy to go into finance and stop doing it.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too, is it doesn't really need to be a fallback thing. Do you have any idea how lucky you are to have the brain to be able to do finance, to be able to do business? I don't have that brain. I'm not good at business at all. But I wish I was, because what you can do is you can put them together, and that makes you more likely to succeed, because it means you're not going to 100% be dependent on somebody else hiring you. If you really
Mhm.
wanted to, you could take your business
Yeah.
sense and do your own thing if you ever had the inkling to do that. So I think for some people it would be a
Mhm.
fallback, but I think you have the capability to just make it an asset for the thing you really want to do.
Yeah, hopefully. But at the same time, don't you think what I said before about like hungry artist is a real artist? Don't you think that
No, I think a
no?
hungry artist
Okay.
just hasn't. Well, here's the thing. I used to think that way when I was younger.
hmm Yeah.
Hungry artist is just an artist who hasn't figured out how to deal with the problem of resources.
Yeah.
I was hungry through all my 20s. I lived in I don't know if you know this, but when I met Jan,
hmm
I was living in a janitor's closet in an apartment building.
Wow.
I rented the closet from the super. I said, I just
Mm,
need a place to stay. And I had it wired with cable and everything. And it was just a janitor's closet where he kept
wow.
some of his supplies. And so I've been poor. And I'd rather be an artist with resources.
Mm-hmm.
I
Makes
would rather,
sense.
because there's just too much I want to do, especially in the collaborative arts, that you can't really do without resources. The older I get,
Yeah.
the harder it is to get people on board. People are willing to give a 19, 20-year-old the benefit of the doubt. They're not willing to give somebody who's on the wrong side of 40,
Yeah.
oh, well, if you're old enough to get a contract, sir, you're old enough to get funding, sir, you know.
Mm, yeah,
And so,
it's getting harder to get
yeah,
those resources, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and so, it's a romantic idea, but I'm Bohemia to me is just a fairy tale.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, isn't it nice to actually get paid for
Yes,
doing
that's
it?
another that's another thing.
That's what I want everybody to get paid, and I want to get paid, and that's what I'm working towards. And that's what I don't. If I had somebody who said, "Hey, yeah, sure, I'll pay everybody's rent," then yeah, we can all work for free. But we don't have anybody who's going to pay all our rents. You know?
Yeah, that's so
Um,
true. That's so true.
yeah.
So, yeah, don't want to give any spoilers here, but I don't know if I can say that. You can cut it
Yeah, I'll
later if
cut
you want.
if
But
I have to.
yeah, yeah. So when my character is actually talking about that, about paying, and when the lead actor is
Yeah.
actually
You know,
asking like
I'll,
whether you're gonna pay or not, and I'm
I'll give
like,
context. Actually, I'll give the audience
yeah,
context.
right,
So the main character in this story that we created is basically on a job interview. It's kind of a long-winded, ridiculous job interview, and at the very end of the movie, he asks about pay, and the pay was completely not a living wage. It was
yeah,
totally ridiculous, and the
it's a
whole movie,
joke, yeah. Mm-hmm.
everything they put him through for that interview wasn't worth the offer. And that's sort of the point. The point was, think about what it takes to get a job in this
Yeah,
society. All the all the sweat we put into our resumes and rewriting our resumes for every job application,
yeah,
all the interviewing and trying to fit into a mold and appeal to whatever their company culture is,
yeah,
all for barely making ends meet, all for a wage where you'd be lucky to pay down your debt in a reasonable amount of time. And so that's sort of the commentary. Well, that's one commentary. It's an essay film, so there's a lot of different components, but that's one of them. And that's definitely not the life I was ever after. Like when I came to New York
mm-hmm.
to try and make films here,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I wanted to network with people who wanted to make films and have that sort of very romantic, creative relationships. But it's at some point there had to be an ingress into financing these things so that we have sort of a mechanism for growth and stability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
That
sense.
to
Yeah.
me is way more worth. That makes the arts way more worthwhile to me.
Right.
Is to be able to. I mean, wouldn't it be great if I could put my
Mm-hmm.
nephews through college on art? Like if my art put my nephews through college, that's so beautiful. That would
That's
be
great.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's go back to you for a second.
Okay.
It's your podcast. When, at what point did you move here, and why? Like, what was the thing that got you to New York, and when was that?
So, yeah, so it was 6 years ago, right? And so, first of all, my sister came here, the first one of our family. She came here and she really liked it here. She enjoyed. She stayed, and then she's a doctor, so she started studying for like learn medicine and stuff. So she decided to study here, and then she stayed. And for me, it was actually it happened one day. So I'm from Uzbekistan, and over there I've been acting, but also been doing other job, and which is accounting and stuff. And one I've been working a lot, and over time, the crazy hours. I've been home late all the time. But again, in order to survive over there, you have to work a lot. And I've been trying, to combine acting and accounting, which is almost impossible, but somehow I manage, theater and accounting, mostly theater job. And so anyway, one day my dad was just like, I cannot, like he was worrying about me, about my state of health, about my, I guess, mental health, because I didn't have enough time to sleep sometimes. I've been sleeping for like 3 hours. And he's like, this cannot go any longer. You have to change something in your life. He's like, and he thought that there were a lot of opportunities are here in the States, in New York. And he said, you should probably try it because your sister lives there. And she will support you, which was the case. Actually, I'm really glad that I have my sister here, because I cannot see myself being here alone, and without any support, not even like financial support, but in terms of just talking to someone. I feel like it's so necessary to have someone close, who you can talk to. And because again, in the beginning, it was really hard. It was really hard.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that's why so many people end up leaving. Because, when I moved here in '03, I didn't have any family roots here. I was
Yeah,
alone,
that's
alone.
so
And
difficult.
everybody I met when I first moved here ended up leaving before. Like, and it's even the pandemic has made it even worse because so many
Yeah,
more people have left. And I wonder if it has to do with not having family.
I think so. Yeah, family is important, no matter how close you are, but still, it's just we don't have like a best relationships. We have difficult relations, but I feel like everyone else sort of, but anyway, in the end of the day, that you can call, like I could call her and she will, tell me like, don't worry, everything will be all right. Just saying that, just saying those words, I feel like it means a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's also like something like, I don't know if you ever feel this when other family members come to visit, but like when my sister comes to New York,
Hmm.
it solidifies New York as a home. So just having her presence in an otherwise alien
Yeah.
place, because New York City is an alien place. It might as well not even be on Earth. But then when you bring somebody from what you recognize as home to it,
Yeah.
it kind of grounds it a little bit. It grounds your life a little bit. At least I think that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Totally. Yeah. Feel the same way. As you said, New York is alien. It's like there's so many people here, right? And especially when, you go to like before the pandemic, when you used to go to all those parties and you feel like you're always like around people and there are a million things to do. But then the end of the day, when you're coming home, you're alone, right?
Yeah.
There's no one around you. Unfortunately, yeah.
That was one of the thesis statements to a story that I wrote and eventually published.
Interesting.
It's kind of about how can the most densely populated city in the West be so lonely?
Lonely.
That was the
That's
question.
so true. That's so true. I would like to hear more about it. Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Okay,
It's
great.
published, so it's a
Uh-huh.
book. I'll have to get
It's a
that to
book.
you. But and for those listening, I'll put a link in the description so you can buy it. But you can have it. I'll give it to
Oh, thank you.
you.
Thank you. You're so kind.
So what kind of films? We wrapped in July. Have you been doing other films or theater?
Not so much because again of the pandemic,
Oh, the
it's
pandemic. Yeah.
been, yeah, because I feel like even though they introduced all those, COVID rules, regulations in terms of protocol, you have to follow protocol and everything. But I feel like for me, the work I've been doing so far, it's mostly, short films and student films. And for them, I feel like it's really hard to follow those rules again because of the budget. Most of the time, those short films, they are on micro budget. And for them to like hire a person who knows those rules, and then they have to get tested. You have to actually do those rapid tests, and
Yeah.
again you have to hire a person who does all that stuff too. It's just a lot of rules, which I'm happy they have those rules, because of course we have to follow them in order to stay safe and not to get sick. But it's just been I feel like, even for, I know it's been really hard year for everyone, right? But I also feel like for people who are, maybe stars, like Hollywood stars, they it's easy for them because at
Yeah.
least they can afford those kinds, to follow all those rules and protocols. And unfortunately for people with the like indie films, it's not that easy.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was conscious of when we were deciding to go back into production on Fractals
Mm-hmm.
was COVID. I mean, we were the first back when New York lifted their restrictions in July,
Yeah.
and I recast the leads. Well, it was grudging. I didn't want to, but the main characters left, and they didn't come back, and so I ended up just casting a couple because it. If you get people who are already living together,
Right.
then I didn't need to rewrite all the scenes. Whereas
Yeah.
with so much of the rest of the script, I had to retool my initial thinking and reblock. And
Yeah.
but I thought it went pretty well. Nobody got sick,
Yes, thank God.
so
We followed
we followed rules. I gave
everything,
everybody
rules.
sanitizer.
Yes, and PPE, it's good.
Yeah,
Masks and everything. So, yeah. So it went well. And I also want to mention that the thing that you said, you had to change the lead. And I feel like, it gave a different color to the movie, really. Like, I haven't
yeah,
seen the movie yet. But even like, working on it, it definitely brought like completely different color. Was
yeah.
so interesting. So it ended up being probably even better than it was in your original thought, right? What do you think?
Actually, I 100% agree with you. I
Okay.
thought Tim brought a spirit to it that wasn't there initially, and I'm going to
Right.
tell you where that started is when I realized that Tim was going to replace the original guy,
Mm-hmm.
who will remain nameless. Um, I told him I wasn't 100% sure if we were going to end up making the movie. Like I wasn't sure
Mm.
who I could get back, and who I could replace and all that. And he's texted me. He goes, "Make your movie. If you say that you're going to make your movie in July, I will block off all of July for you." And I said, "Okay, that's enough. That's the spirit I need." Because that's not the guarantee I got initially from the other guy. And so I said, "All right, this guy is actively asking me to make this movie. And if I can make it all in July, he'll come every single day to Staten Island, which is a place nobody wants to come to. And he'll shoot the movie with me." I'm like, "That's fantastic." And so I did. That's how we ended up off the ground. And that spirit, my goodness, that is so important to getting a project not only going, but to have it done right in the end. Because before, I felt like I was constantly trying to appeal to the talent. Like, "I swear this project is worth it. I swear. Just trust me," which in the long run makes me feel like a snake oil salesman. But I know what I'm talking about. It's just a matter of finding the people who kind of understand that and understand that I'm not a good negotiator. I'm a good storyteller.
That's true. That's true. I believed you immediately. I trusted you. I didn't have any doubts.
Well,
I hope
you and Elena are the only two who from the original set of meetings that I had. Because I've talked before.
You.
I have talked before, but I haven't published it yet. I talked with Tim about the false start. Because we had a false start before the pandemic. And with the exception of you and Elena, I don't think anybody else from the original casting sessions made it into the actual movie. Because they all left.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, so you already had some footage. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I had 4 days worth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why I don't know if I told you this, but the woman who's scoring the movie, she had to move back to Texas during the pandemic to take care of her dad. And she wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it back going again because everybody left and like, "Well, you already shot 4 days. Are you going to reshoot those 4 days?" And I'm like, "Well, of course." Like they were an important part of the script.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not the first time like that's happened. Many movies have done that. Not my movies, but other movies have done that where they'll shoot for a week or 2 weeks and then have to go reshoot everything because they changed the cast. It's tragic when it happens, but it happens.
Tragic, but it's silver lining, that actually movie ended up, I hope, being, good movie. And
you know what it is? It's a surprising movie because everything I had planned for the most part, I guess the most important stuff that I had planned stuck, but all the stuff that wasn't that important changed, and they changed for the better in that I had something completely different in mind for the end.
Right.
And when I ended up putting you and Elena as sort of the culprits at the end, for some reason that changed that I would have never thought of otherwise. There's something about making the movie unpredictable to me that makes it better. Because when I originally wrote it, I wasn't writing it for 2 Russian speakers. I kept the scene, by the way, where you're speaking in Russian.
You did?
Yeah, and it makes it all that much. Here's the thing: it's like if it surprises me, that's all that much better. Because I can't sit down and write a scene. 2 Russian women are behind this for no reason whatsoever, other than I'll probably get them in casting. Like,
right?
Like I didn't know that when I was going to get in casting, and so it's just, it just became one of those things that the surprise is so much better than anything I could have ever written. The surprise of who done it.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. We did not expect it, right? And then you were like, "How about you just gonna start doing it in Russian?" And we like that idea. Remember, we're like, sure.
Yeah.
And it was so natural for us too. It's like we were just us basically, which is what needed from actors, right? Just be yourself. So that's great.
Be yourself, and let's face it, the scene I wrote in English wasn't solid gold. It wasn't gold at all.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I mean the side, the scene, the side.
Okay,
I
you
mean,
mean?
it wasn't special in English, so it
Oh
didn't make
yeah,
sense to keep it. Like,
right. No, you know I love your writing, so I'm biased here.
thanks, appreciate that.
And you're probably gonna put the subtitles, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, cool. So people will
exactly
still
from the script.
follow.
Yeah, although it'd be interesting not to. It's like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of body language. Um,
that's right.
but yeah, I'll probably put subtitles.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
But
great.
I think it's coming along well too. I've already sent the first 15 minutes to the composer for music,
Mm-hmm.
and the visual effects are almost done. So the second sequence will go out soon. There'll be about 4 or 5
That's great.
sequences. Yeah, you'll see something soon, hopefully,
Cannot
in the next
wait to
couple months.
see it. Yeah, especially the scene in because I feel like I saw some at least some footage of that scene we did with Elaine, with that office scene, but I haven't seen the scene from the apartment yet. When I actually meet the guy,
Oh,
meet an artist.
oh, in the red room.
Yes, red
Yeah,
room.
you won't be seeing that for a
I
while. Because
okay.
I'm having a special sort of hip hop like music score done for that scene,
Wow.
and that's proven to be a bit of a. I'm working that deal out right now,
Okay.
and so, but it's a funny scene.
It is. Yeah. I mean, again, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but
I think it was.
I, was it?
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't play it
I would
funny,
never write
by the
something like
way.
that seriously.
But you see me, like I went all the way. It's
Well, you're
like
supposed to. I mean, that's how you play comedy.
that's
You
how you
play it seriously.
that's right.
The
That's
best
the
comedy
hard
is played
part.
seriously.
Yeah, that's like I
Have you?
always thought that I'm not gonna like I cannot do comedy. I always thought, even like when they've been casted in comedic, I was like, I have no idea. I used to play drama, but I guess that's the whole point.
Have you ever
Play it
seen?
serious.
Have you
Hmm.
ever seen Leslie Nielsen movies? He's an
No,
older actor. He did like
which one?
Airplane,
Oh,
Airplane,
Airplane, of
or
course.
the
I love
Naked
Airplane.
Gun. Have you seen the Naked Gun?
No, but I
It's
saw
just
Airplane. I
yeah,
love
same.
it.
Where he just
Yeah,
plays it so seriously, and he doesn't
yeah,
know that it's funny. It's important to not know that it's funny. I guess that's the key
yeah.
to unlocking comedy. Don't think
That's
of it
right.
as a drama.
Yeah, that's what I did. So I'm glad if it ended up being what you were thinking, funny. And
Well, sometimes I get lucky, and it seems like I know what I'm doing. So
I think you definitely know for sure. So how are the things with podcasts? I feel like
podcast is
I'm an
good.
interviewer now. Sorry.
It's a two-way
It's a
conversation.
two-way. Right.
It's going good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to. I'm wrapping up the first season in May, so
Okay.
I'm trying to get the rest of the cast recorded,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm also trying to fill out. I have these ambition for it where I want to interview business startups,
Mm-hmm.
people who are starting up businesses. I also want to interview more writers, and so I'm really rushing to get people to fill all the slots until the end of May.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take a break.
You need a break. You
I do.
work a
I'm
lot.
really tired.
Yeah, I
But
can. I mean,
yeah, I
sorry.
also just, sorry, no, it's cool. I also just, I have to force myself to schedule time to finish the movie.
Hmm.
The thing has gone on long enough.
It's okay. It's all right. As long
Did
as you see the finish line.
did I show
You
you
s-
the clips from the some of the visual effects? I can share my screen with you.
No, can you
Yeah, yeah,
share? I would
I'll
love
share
to
my
see
screen.
it. Yeah.
Let me see here.
Mm-hmm.
So
The black hole.
this
Uh-huh.
is his soul going into the black hole.
Wow. Okay, let's see. Wow. It's
It's
great.
pretty gruesome. Um, I'm going for like a retro '70s look.
That's great. You've done it yourself or you like hired
No, I.
someone?
So there's a guy in London who does this stuff.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
mean that yeah, I could tell it's like a difficult stuff to do, you know.
he makes
Looks
music
great.
videos. This is him getting rid of the black hole. Boom.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And then this is a test that we did of the
Okay.
black hole appearing. So
What? Oh my God. It's like from a horror movie.
yeah, it's supposed to be like horrific. I mean, it's stealing his
Man,
soul. This is like the head
I had
on.
chills.
So the black hole sucking his pieces of his soul one slice at a time.
Mm, wow. That
Um,
looks great. And
yeah,
Tim, oh my God, I love him. He's so great. He was so committed, I feel, all the time, you know.
yeah,
He's a very committed actor, and that's what I appreciate. He was giving himself all the time. That's great.
yeah. And when I needed him for additional voiceover recording, he
Mm,
just came from Connecticut. He drove in on his own
I
just to do
know.
it, and that was amazing. It's really hard to
Amazing.
get that commitment.
Yeah. But he just loves what he's doing, you know.
Yeah. Well, he also
As
knows that the hustle right now, he has the energy to hustle, and he knows that he has
yeah,
to,
yeah,
like, just to do as many projects as possible while
yeah,
he can, while he's supported by his parents.
yeah. That's right. But
They
I
give me shit
remember
for saying that.
no, but I remember first time I met him actually on a set, right? Like we never met before, and because with the guy that was supposed to be in the movie, we met before. Remember, like he
Yes.
organized a meeting. Well, it was pre-COVID again, but yeah, with team I met on the set, and he actually looked a little bit tired. I don't know whether I'm supposed to say it or not, but he was like, "Yeah, we actually just like finished shooting the night before, so I hadn't like enough sleep." But at the same time, he had all this energy. You know,
Yeah.
when you said camera action, I saw him and I was like, "Okay, guy, you're not that tired. You have all this energy in the world." So
Well, I he was really tired, and I worked him pretty hard, but he asked me to. He said, "Do
he
it
loved
every
it.
day, every
That's
single
great.
day." Yeah.
I
I'm like,
love
"All
it.
right. Are you sure you don't want me to stretch it out a little bit more? Because I can." He's like,
Yeah.
"No." I did it anyway, and he was still tired, but
No, but I think you're lucky, Eric. You know, you're created this, you know, atmosphere around you and you hired the people who actually loved what they are doing. I think that's what's important about the whole thing.
well, thanks. Well, they're hard to find.
Yeah.
I work hard to find, and honestly, it my last film was made in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
so 2016 to 2017, 2017 to 2018, 2018 to 2019, 2019 to 2020. So it took me
Yeah.
4 years to find them.
Yeah.
They're not easy to find.
But you did a good job,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
of course.
So, what are you hoping will happen in terms of the pandemic and the timeline and getting back onto projects? And are you thinking about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, definitely. I think about it every day. And I feel like there is hope, especially, you know, with the vaccinations and everything. Hopefully I by the summer, maybe by fall. And I feel like again, people are hungry for jobs, you know, and
Oh yeah.
for actually implementing their ideas because you know during the pandemic everyone was home and people I know people were working on stuff were writing were you know generating ideas and now it's the time to implement them so I feel like it's going to be boom. I mean, I hope so, and I'm an optimistic person. And I think there should be a boom in, production.
Can I ask you a question about like
Hmm.
the parts that you're offered? What kind of parts do you typically get offered?
Yeah, that's a good question. Of course, because I have a strong Russian accent, and which I'm trying to work on. Um, yeah, I've been taking classes, since I came here. Accent reduction class. But I feel like if I know, like if I'm working a monologue or something, I can actually try to speak it with like American accent. But most of the time, I've been getting roles like Russian spies or, you know, Russian prostitute. Excuse my language, but
Prostitute is not a bad word.
it's not a bad word. Okay.
It's a word. It's an accurate description of somebody's profession.
Oh, okay. Now I feel like, yeah, it's like actually insulting prostitutes. For them, it's their profession. You're right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I've been getting those roles, which is understandable. But of course, I would like to expand it. And I just,
What roles do you want? What are some characters that you are always thinking about, that you always go back to, that you say,
I
"Oh
always
man, wouldn't this be great?"
feel like, in terms of, like drama and like just being, I guess a protagonist who wants like it's I cannot even describe it to you. It's interesting because I guess if I knew what role I would probably write it for myself, but I'm not a writer, right? So I cannot write. I mean, I've written a little bit of stuff, but it's not like I'm not a writer, so it's hard for me to actually put it in words.
I have an idea for you.
You do?
Yeah.
Which
You
idea do
want to
you
hear
have?
it?
I
What
would
if
love to hear.
Okay. What if you played the daughter of a slain UN diplomat and you're in New York to investigate a cover up of your father's death?
Wow. Okay, I love it.
International intrigue,
Yeah. That
action,
sounds
mystery. And I see room for badass scenes, you know?
I love it. I love it already. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's great.
You ever see The Interpreter with
Ah,
Nicole Kidman?
yes. Yes,
I love
yes.
that movie. I love that
That's
genre.
great. Yeah.
That sort of it's a smart action movie
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that has an underlying morality tale for the sort of the way countries work with one another or fail to work with one another in certain respects.
I love it. Yeah,
And
thanks
you're
for
in the
the idea.
perfect city for that.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully it's gonna be our next project.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Um,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I have so many ideas
You do. That's
for
great.
everybody on it. Yeah. I wish I had a bottomless bank account so we could do all these.
I know, right?
That's like,
Let's work towards that goal to have that
yeah.
unlimited bank account so we can just, create art and hopefully it's going to resonate with an audience. That's the final goal of it, right? To
Well,
resonate with
yeah,
people.
and I think we will. I've been getting some pretty good feedback from some of my
That's
overseas
great.
collaborators.
Mm-hmm.
So we will. And in time,
That's great.
I think by the time theaters open, we'll be able to all watch it together. So,
Cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
yeah.
Every time like I see you working, I feel like you motivate me to do stuff, because you're doing this
Oh,
like all this like podcast and everything. And like I see it, in social media. And I was like, why am I just sitting here? I should do something. It motivates me to do stuff, to create, which is great. So,
well,
so
for
thanks
me,
for
like, well,
mm-hmm.
I'm glad that's the case because that's part of the goal here.
Yeah.
It's a podcast to inspire creativity, and the films are also meant to inspire creativity. Do you hear
Staten
that?
Island.
New York City. Um, it's just like a lot of people give up by the time they're 35, and I'm 39. So the older I get, the more I have to do it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I will. I give up easier than most people think. And so initially, my goal was to make one movie a year, but that's not realistic
No, it's
because I'm
tough.
too picky.
It's, you also perfectionist, I think.
I'm not
Or
nowhere near a
no?
perfectionist.
Okay, okay. That's what I thought. I don't know. Sorry, I was wrong.
Um, I'm just slow. Like I've slowed
Okay.
my process down to a point where, unless I can find meaning in it, I usually
Mm-hmm.
won't allow it to be finished. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I find meaning in it, I finish it.
Got it.
That's why I'm so slow. I think I could be wrong. We'll figure that out down the
No,
road.
that works as an explanation. So
Yeah. So were you on
hmm
you on a project today?
yeah, I was just working on some stuff, but it's also how you started the conversation, like going like a circle, basically. We can say that, as you said, like you appreciate, not appreciate, but you feel like it's necessary to have your own resources because I feel like it can also free you to work on your own stuff.
Yeah.
That's what basically I'm trying to do these days, just
Yeah.
work on my
So
own stuff.
it's your film?
Basically, I produced it.
Oh, I want to see it.
Yeah, hopefully you will.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a short film, and I just, I've been working as a producer on it and as an actor as well. Um,
Nice.
yeah. So hopefully the world will see it and you will see it. So,
What can you tell me anything about it?
um,
No?
not yet. Sorry.
Okay.
we,
We're
we can we can
teased. We're
we can do,
teased.
yes, but we can do another podcast about it.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah. Okay, sounds good.
This podcast is about fractals, so
Well, it's introducing the audience to you
that's right.
so
Yeah.
that when you come on again, they already know who you are.
Yeah. I just feel like I don't know, I wanna see the work first, and then
Yeah.
maybe the world will not see it. It depends. It depends on how I feel about it. And,
That's a recipe for disaster. The
I
world
know,
should
right?
always see it.
I know. It's like I shouldn't have said it, but
That's like saying like look at this. See this?
yes,
So
this is great.
I'm very self-conscious about my pandemic hair. And but I go on anyway because the world needs it. Well, the world doesn't need me, but the, you it's important to get out there and to get the work out there. That's what I'm saying. Otherwise, there's no growth.
You're right, but I think I'm a perfectionist. If you are not, I'm definitely one. So I would like it to be perfect. If it's not perfect, if I see it and I don't think it's perfect, it's like forget about it. We're just gonna like throw it in
But
the trash
but
and work on
imagine
the.
no. Don't throw it in the trash. Oh my god, you're freaking me out. So imagine
Sorry.
imagine you do this, right? You finish this, you put it out.
Hmm.
Next year, you do something that's a million times better. For me, I love seeing the growth between the two. Like, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I went to film school um, where Kevin Smith went to film school, where he dropped out. And the
Hmm.
first thing I did when I went there was I went to look at his old student work
Mm,
because I know what he can do as a
right.
professional filmmaker. I
Yeah.
wanted to know what he did before he learned how to be a professional filmmaker. I wanted to see
Wow.
the stuff he doesn't want the world to see. And so I went into the
Oh,
archives and I looked at all of his student films because that's where you really get to see how people started. I think that's important to see how people
that's
developed because it's not a talent that people get right away. We think it is because that's the story they tell, but everybody learns to do it. And I think it's important to show that process, to make sure that the back catalog of work is accessible.
Yeah, thank you for telling me this. I should probably rethink it. I don't know.
I have a lifelong learning philosophy that
Hmm.
everything is a step to something else and to something else. And even when you think it's perfect, it's probably not. Uh, the
That's a
universe is
good point.
chaotic.
Yeah, thank you for telling me this. Really, yeah, I feel like I shouldn't probably be so, you know, as you said, like the recipe for disasters. Like I already think about it and I'm like, oh, we might not be that good as I thought.
You know, I had a perfect script initially for Fractals. It was three
Right.
acts. It had the perfect arc for every single character.
Hmm.
I didn't use any of that. But
Yeah.
by it not being as perfect according to the aesthetic rules of Hollywood, it became a more meaningful film. Because I got rid of the three act structure. I got rid of
Right.
all those arcs, and I rooted them in this essay format that
Hmm.
somehow made it more. It gave it a life beyond what it would probably had otherwise.
Mm.
And so, what is perfection?
There is none.
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Eye of the
Yeah.
beholder. I love I love scratched up films that are tattered,
Hmm.
you know, with holes in them,
Hmm.
or overexposed pictures.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that that stuff is better than a perfectly exposed picture.
Yeah.
To see the, I'm just telling you my taste. You can do whatever you want with your movie, but I like seeing the medium doing its thing.
Right. Just learning here,
Yeah.
learning from the best. So,
Who's working with you?
it's actually few people from HB Studio. That's school I've been going to. I've been taking classes there since I don't know if I mentioned that before now. So when I came here to the States, I actually met a guy who he used to be an actor and a playwright as well. And he suggested me, he said, you should consider HB Studio as your acting school. And that's what I did. And I've been with them since 2016. It's interesting, not only about the classes that I've been taking there, because I definitely learned a lot, but also it's about meeting people. So I met a few, few nice, interesting people, guys who love what they're doing and love acting and directing, and that's how
Nice.
created this team.
Good. Well, I'm
So
glad you're doing that.
yeah, thank you,
I,
Eric.
I think actors should produce their own work. Uh,
Um, we'll see. Yeah, it's a definitely experiment. It's the first time I'm doing it, right? Usually I'm just doing someone else's work, but I feel like the pandemic led me to that point where I was like, we should work on our own stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I hope you keep working on your own stuff.
thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
thanks.
Well, we're almost an hour now, so
Wow, wow, wow.
um,
That was quick.
yeah, goes
Didn't
by
feel like an
quick.
hour.
It's pretty low stakes. Thanks for coming on here. I really
Of
appreciate it.
course. Thank you
Um,
so much for
would you?
having me here.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for having me here.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Eric. Bye. You too. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Hey everyone. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification.